Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Fantastic here with what I believe is my most important statement. It comes from another person's point of view, but it resonates a lot with what I'm trying to do in the world and what this gentleman's been doing for 9 years, of which I've been doing for 2. So without further ado, grab a beer, grab a cup of coffee. For the next 15 minutes, this is extremely important information that affects everyone on the planet. So here goes. Dear citizens of the Dear digital citizens of the world. My name is Brian Rose, and I'm founder and host of London Real, an independent media and education company that has been broadcasting long-form interviews with some of the greatest thought leaders in the world for the past 9 years. In that time, our video content has been watched over 500 million times, and we have graduated over 5,000 people from our London Real Academy in 107 countries around the world. This, by the way, this was sent to me by one of my ambassadors. I get a lot of information. This one's important. Well, they're all important, but this one's really important. Our mission is simple: to create a mass-scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. Again, that's what I'm trying to do. I love people we need a lot of people trying to do this. And when you join his group and when you go and join Be Fantastic, you're going to accomplish a lot of the things that he's saying here. Every day for the past 9 years, I have worked tirelessly to help transform the lives of millions of people from around the world. And yet today, I write to you out of desperation. Recently, I have been persecuted, banned, deplatformed, and censored by governments, regulators, mainstream media, and trillion-dollar technology platforms. People that talk about disruptive technologies, people that talk about disruptive things to the big money are going to be censored like he is being. Tesla, when he came out with free electricity, they tried to kill him. It's the greedy world we live in, and we need to get away from that. Every aspect of my life has been under attack, from my credibility to my content to my livelihood and even reputation. This has all happened for one reason: because I chose to broadcast conversations and ideas that are deemed controversial for mainstream media coverage. My reason for doing so is to give people a choice about the guidance and information they choose to engage with, something I believe is a critical need in these challenging times of global crisis. My sole aim is to disseminate information to allow people to make their own choices as rationally minded, free-thinking adults. Let me be very clear. I do not encourage violence. I do not encourage the destruction of property. I do not encourage revolution. I do not encourage protest. I only encourage education. And that's what I'm trying to do with the Be Fantastic movement. Educate people to be kind, considerate, and friendly, and civil. And for this, I've been vilified, marginalized, and silenced. All for exercising my fundamental human rights to freedom of speech and freedom of the press. These are our most basic civil rights, which have been guaranteed by governments around the world for hundreds of years. Wars have been fought over them. People have died for this. Now, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, adopted in 1791, reads, "Congress shall make no law prohibiting or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press." The European Convention on Human Rights, Article 10, states, "Everyone has the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart information and ideas without interference by public authority and regardless of frontiers." The United Nations created in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the UDHR, in 1948, which states in Article 19, we all have the right to make up our own minds, to think what we like, to say what we think, and to share our ideas with other people. Gosh, this is starting to piss me off. Like many of you, I hold these truths to be self-evident. and believe they are the reason we live in a free society, that we celebrate life, liberty, and justice. Without this most basic freedom, everything we stand for will be fundamentally lost. If we cannot entertain and debate contrarian ideas in a public forum, how will we progress as a society and as a species? What if the Magna Carta had never stated in 1215 that everybody, including the king, presidents, was subject to the law? What if Martin Luther had never nailed his theses to the door in 1517? What if the founding fathers of America had never created the Declaration of Independence in 1776? What if Martin Luther King Jr. had been unable to speak freely about his civil rights in his "I Have a Dream" speech on the Washington Mall in 1963? What would we be? Would we be the free-thinking society of liberty and justice of today? I think not. It is only because of freedom of speech that we are able to consider all points of view, engage in healthy debate, and move forward and take the most intelligent action. You really need to look at both sides, and both sides are totally disagreeing on things right now. But make your own decision, but don't not listen to the other side. When it comes to political things, people don't listen to the other side. They don't want to hear the other side. It's ridiculous. And I am deeply concerned that now all this is being taken away from us. I feel that we are heading down a very dark path, and that if we continue, we'll permanently alter the course of humanity forever. To be completely honest, I never planned on getting into this fight. For 40 years of my life, I focused on the one thing most of us do, serving our own self-interests. I graduated with an engineering degree from MIT and built a very successful career in finance on Wall Street and in the city of London. I thought that money and success would make me happy, but it left me feeling empty, depressed, and disconnected. And that's the first thing I tell people as a philosopher is money does not buy happiness. I've known too many people that kill themselves with a lot of money. Money does not buy happiness. And if you follow my movement, you'll hear a lot about that. So I walked away from it all and started London Real in my apartment with a couple of webcams, a cheap wooden desk, and a vision to start giving back to the world. And as you know, I've given up all my worldly possessions to go on the world tour and tell everyone to be fantastic, to love themselves and be kind to others. Follow my movement, people. Join my crusade and join Brian Rose's here. London Real has always been the same: to broadcast long-form conversations that are unscripted, unedited, and uncensored. Real people talking about real things. It sounds simple, but the effects have been so profound. As you might know, my 3,000 interviews, whether it's on this channel, my podcast, and I recorded this on my podcast as well, you can listen to it on the radio, and my radio show, and I'm coming up with a TV show now, is never edited, never a second take, never a rehearsal, real conversations with real people. Fantastic people. These nuanced, organic, and real interviews have changed the lives of tens of millions of people, allowing them to be more empowered, more conscious, and more cooperative. Well, he's got tens of millions. I've only got tens of thousands, so I'm getting there. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with but a single step. In fact, every single day I get stopped on the streets and thanked because the content we produce has literally saved people's lives. And in the process, I changed too, going from a selfish, angry, greedy, alcoholic banker to become a sober, optimistic, and hopeful teacher, father, and broadcaster. We live in a greedy, selfish, litigious world, people. Follow the Be Fantastic movement, follow this guy, and you're going to lead a better life. Money is the root of all evil. So, going on, the transformation in myself and the London Real community has been nothing less than a miracle of modern broadcasting technology. And all of this would have proceeded as planned for another 9 years if it wasn't for the events of April 6th, 2020. This day was like many other days at London Real. We had a guest in our studio, and we broadcasted live 2.5 hour, unscripted, unedited, and uncensored conversation to anyone who chose to watch it. The guest was David Icke, I-C-K-E, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, and the broadcast was extremely popular. In fact, it was the second largest YouTube live stream in the world that day, with some 339,000 people tuning in to watch it. What does that tell you? Our conversation that day was clearly something that many people wanted to watch. Yet 30 minutes later, this entire broadcast was deleted and banned on YouTube. And my adventure with modern-day digital censorship would begin. Welcome to the real world. Over the next 5 weeks, that same broadcast would be deleted and banned on a number of other technology platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and Vimeo. London Real would then be completely deplatformed and deleted from LinkedIn and Dropbox. All because of two people speaking calmly about different ideas. We are being punished for exercising our universal human right to the freedom of speech. Next, our content would be sanctioned and censored by the UK regulator Ofcom after a broadcast on TV channel London Live. Then we were vilified by the BBC and mainstream press for publishing health misinformation that could cause physical harm. And as if we as adults need to be coddled by our governments, regulators, media, and technology companies. Well, there are a lot of idiots out there, but we don't need to be coddled. The weeks which followed saw more of our videos from other guests banned, more untrue claims published by the mainstream media, and more threats made to our broadcasting rights via increased censorship and threats. Today, we risk being deplatformed on most major social media platforms and technology providers. Our credibility is being attacked, and they are taking strong steps to shut down our business and render us voiceless, which is why I write to you today. I want to make this statement loud and clear. We will no longer tolerate this inhumane treatment. We will stand up for what built the great nations and powerful social movements of human history. We will stand up for what created the system of life, liberty, and justice that we hold so dear. We believe freedom of speech is the most fundamental human right of all. Censorship has no place in a free society, the rule of law in each country. Digital platforms are in fact public utilities that need to follow. We demand our full-length video conversation with David Icke, Dr. Rashid Buttar, I've not agreed with everything he said, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, and Dr. Judy Mikovits. Now these are intelligent, educated people that are speaking out, and people don't want to hear it. Are re-platformed on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn with immediate effect. We are permitted to immediately resume broadcasting uncensored conversations on any and all technology platforms. I'm not sure if this is going to get sanctioned or not. I'm not really saying anything other than he's complaining. The governments of the USA, UK, France, Germany, Canada, and European Union create new legislation to permanently guarantee universal digital freedom of speech to all citizens indefinitely. I don't think that's much to ask for. A full and complete broadcast of our 3 episodes in 2020 with David Icke on London Live television channel without censure. I actually want to watch it now. He's encouraging me to watch this. Access to censorship-free broadcasting for all. Now, these are things that are fundamentally in our books, in our Constitution, and in the Bill of Rights, and everything. I mean, you just can't say certain things nowadays. There is no freedom of speech. I've been saying that for years. There are some who will say that these private companies are allowed to establish community guidelines and censor whoever and whatever they choose. See, it's the big money that's doing this. You know that. It's Big Farm. It's the 13 big families that control all the money, the governments, and the media. I disagree. These private companies now act as public utilities, especially now in times of crisis when important information needs delivery to the public. Therefore, as such, these utilities need to respect the fundamental human rights laws that prevail in the locations they service. This means complying with the First Amendment of the Constitution, the European Convention on Human Rights, Article 10, and the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 19. The law is in fact on our side, and it is our duty as citizens to enforce it. To be honest, I am not a person that likes to ask for help. I believe in the concept of self-reliance at all costs. But I cannot win this fight alone. I need you and your support. Like Dr. Fantastic's need you to follow the movement and make the world a more civil place. We both need your support. I need your signature on this open letter so we can show that our voice is a force to be reckoned with. A single voice that is of the people, by the people, for the people. I used to think that my vote didn't count, but it does count, I've learned. That's why I'm saying if everyone starts to be fantastic and starts to get rid of the word good and replace it with fantastic, we will make the world a more civil place. It's as simple as that. And signing petitions. We must all remember that these governments, media companies, and technology platforms cannot exist without us. The people need to take back control. We are the citizens, the voters, the viewers, the consumers of the adverts, and the providers of personal data that keep these dominant entities in power. We control their future, not the other way around, but only if we act together as one unit and demand that our fundamental human rights be restored. So help me now send them a strong signal. Sign this letter and let's take back our power. Let's show these institutions that they are here to serve us. Let's give them a strong message, loud and clear. We will not be silenced. We will not be censored. We will not be stopped. Join me today and sign this letter. Join us together. Let's send a shot across their bow and tell them that enough is enough. Let's create a free thinking and free speaking. This video presentation is brought to you by Via Drinks. Live the Via life. Proactive hydration, low calories, delicious taste. You'll love it. It's fantastic. Overpopulated cities around the world have caused people to become a greedy, selfish, and litigious society. Would you like to be happier, live longer, never be forgotten, and help make the world a kinder, more civil place? It's actually easier than you think. Every day you're asked, how are you? Instead of saying good, say I am fantastic. It will make you look better, feel great, and reduce your stress. Making the world a better place starts with each person. Please join the Be Fantastic movement today. What you want to be, you can be. Be fantastic.
I met Dr. Fantastic along life's way, and I heard him say, you are fantastic, yes you are. You are fantastic,